My name is Kelly Wallace. I am the California History Subject Specialist at Central Library. Today we're going to take another look inside the vertical files to discover more about Los Angeles history. Exposition Park is a neighborhood that lies just south and a little west of downtown Los Angeles. Today I'm going to focus on the largest feature in Exposition Park, the neighborhood, and that is Exposition Park, the 160-acre state-owned park. It turns out that Exposition Park has a really interesting and rather seamy history. Exposition Park began as Agricultural Park, a farmers' fairground created in 1872 by the Southern District Agricultural Society. That venture turned out to be a financial flop, and in 1880 the property was foreclosed on. Ownership changed hands several times and began the slide into a playground for all sorts of illicit activities. There was open gambling, drinking, and prostitution on the grounds. The park sat just outside the city borders and therefore beyond the reach of the police department. Here's a picture of the racetrack at Agricultural Park, and you can see the grandstand. Now, all kinds of races took place at this racetrack, not just horse races. There were dog races. There was a race of a man on a motorbike against horses. They also had a locomotive collision. This was a planned event where they set up two locomotives at each end of track that they built, and they set off at full speed, and the engineers jumped off just before they collided. It was heavily promoted, and they used the language like it was a boxing match, which you can see here. This was a full-page ad in the Los Angeles Times. In 1898, a young devout lawyer was teaching Sunday school at nearby University Methodist Church. His name was William Bowen. His class was full of unruly and rowdy students, and as soon as they were dismissed, they would scurry off as fast as they could. One Sunday, he decided to follow them to see what they were up to, and he followed them to Agricultural Park. Now, as a leader in the community, he had to have known about the reputation of Agricultural Park, but seeing it up close and in person horrified him. And it started him on a years-long battle to try to reclaim Agricultural Park. After a decade of legal wrangling at his own expense, he was finally able to make Agricultural Park public property. He then set out to transform it into a destination for more serene and cerebral pursuits. The brothel and saloons were torn down in 1910, and plans were designed for a National Guard Armory, the Natural History Museum, and an exposition building. And here we have the commemorative opening brochure from Exposition Park. First thing I want to point out is this design for an aqueduct memorial fountain. 220 feet tall. I mean, think about that. That's like over a 20-story building. And it's a classical column on a base that's clad in frescoes and topped by Miss Los Angeles statue, who's continuously pouring water into a moat. Unfortunately, World War I started, and this was never completed. In the spot now is a much more modest fountain in the center of the Rose Garden. And finally, on the last page, it leaves you with this thought: that which Los Angeles has not and wills not is not. It's very deep.